Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we will be studying about the inheritance, the concept of the inheritance, how we can apply it in C++. So we all know that C++ strongly supports the concept of reusability, where the classes can be reused in a several way. And so how it can be done, it can be done creating a new classes and reusing the properties of the existing ones. So how we can use the existing one properties? By doing inheritance. So the mechanism of deriving a new class from an old class is called inheritance, or I can say it is called derivations. So I can write over here that it is also known as derivation, which is done with the old class to the new class. Now there are several names for old class. Suppose can be called as parent, it can be called as super, or it can be called as base class. Likewise, for a new class we have names child, subclass, and a derived class. Alright, so when we are talking about inheritance, we are having different types of inheritance. That is single, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, hybrid. Also, when we are saying that we need to do a single inheritance, so what we are doing here, we are having a class A, out of which we are deriving a class B. This is a single, or I can say a simple inheritance. The second one we discussed was a multi-level. So what we do in a multi-level, it is similar to a single inheritance, just a number of classes we increase. Likewise, we are having a class A, out of which class B is derived, and after B we are deriving a class C. This is called multi-level inheritance. Third one is the multiple inheritance, which is supported by C++, whereas if we talk about Java, it doesn't support multiple inheritance. So in multiple inheritance we are having two base classes and one derived class. So the class C over here is inheriting properties of both the classes A and B. Next is hierarchical. What hierarchical is doing? It is having a single base class, out of which we can derive n number of classes. Like I am deriving over here is 3 classes, which is inheriting properties of A. Last is hybrid. So how hybrid can be done? Hybrid can be we can say it can be a combination of multi-level or hierarchical. Suppose I am saying it is a combination of multi-level and multiple. So how the classes will be derived over here is class A is a base class and class B is derived from class A, and we are having another class C, and both B and C are equally helping to derive class D. So basically what we are doing, we are having a derived class D over here, which is having the properties of A, B and C, which is a combination of multi-level and multiple. Generally you have seen the diagram of hybrid inheritance likewise, that A is deriving a class B and C, and the both classes are deriving class D. So which inheritance combination is it? It is a combination of multiple plus hierarchical. Now let's see how we can define a derived class, or we can say syntax for a derived class. So its syntax will be like this. It's like class derived class name colon, then visibility mode. What is the visibility mode? We will be discussing right after the syntax and base class name. And that's it. Under this, the body of derived class, which consists of member functions, that it. Okay, so now we are talking about the visibility mode, such as I am taking an example that class A is my derived class and I am writing private B. So B is my base class and A is my derived class, and here are the member of A. So this type of derivation is known as private derivation. So when we are talking about the private derivation, what it is doing, it is inheriting a base class privately by a derived class, by which I can say that public members of a base class will become private members of the derived class. Therefore, it can be accessed by the member function of that particularly derived class. As we all know that private members can only be accessed by the member functions of that particular class. So this is the reason how private derivation can be done or can be applied. We will be learning about it more further in an example which I will be showing. So next, if I am writing class A public B, so what here I am doing, I am inheriting base class publicly by a derived class, where the public members of B will become public in class A. Okay. Now in a third example, if I am writing class A without specifying a public or private, I am just writing B. What does it mean? So this was my public derivation. Now what kind of derivation is this, where I have not applied any access specifier like public, protected or private? So by default in C++, if you are not mentioning any access specifier, by default it will be taken as private derivation. So I will be writing over here private derivation, which is by default. Okay. Now let's see the visibility of the members and the effect of inheritance on it. So let's take an example. Suppose class B, and you all know that how we represent a class, and here are the members, that is private, protected and public. This is the sequence for the members in a class we generally mention. So with the class B as a base class and another class private, protected, public. Suppose this is class C, which is derived from class B, and I am inheriting B members as a public. And suppose I am having class D, inheriting properties of class B privately, private, protected. So what we have to do, we have to see over here that how the members of a class can be interact to the derived class. We are having a last class over here. I am taking a fourth class, that is suppose class X, which is derived from class C and class D. So what in class X is doing, it is publicly inheriting the C properties and protectively inheriting the class D properties. So let's start from the class B. So how the members of class B will be shown to class C or a class D, whereas in class C we have inherited publicly all the members. So if we talk about private, they cannot be inherited, right? And when we are talking about private, protected, so protected will be protected always in a derived class as well, and the public will be public as we have inherited the properties as public in class C. And for class D, protected members will become private as all the members from B will become private in a derived class, and as well as the public will also become private. Okay, now when we are talking about class X, what it will be done, again the private will not be inherited, but how protected and public will be work. For C, it is inheriting publicly, that means protected will be treated as protected in a derived class, whereas public will be treated as public. And for protected D, protected will become under the protected category, whereas public will also become protected, as we have discussed that whatever access specifier you will mention or whatever properties you are going to mention as private, public and protected, it will inherit the properties in that particular form in the derived class. Okay, let's see the chart for the visibility of inherited members, that how we can view our members, or how the visibility of the base class member can appear in a various derivations of a derived class. If we have done a public derivation, what will be the base class visibility for private? It will not inherit in any of the derivations, right? But protected will be protected always, whether it is a public derivation or a protected derivation. Whereas for private, it will become private, and for public derivation, public member will appear public, for private it will appear private, and for protected it will appear protected. So now the point is that how we can access these private and protected members. So there are various member functions which can access these members. Those member functions can be like a function that is a friend of a class. Okay, so we have a function who is a friend of a class X, so that particular function can access the private data directly from the class. Another will be a member function of a class that is a friend of a class. So here is a difference. We have a one class and a other class which is a friend of a class X. So the friend can directly access the private members of class X. Okay. Third will be a member function of a derived class. So how member function of a derived class can access private members? See, directly it cannot access the private members, but it can access them through the member functions of that base class. Okay class, let's see the more pictorial form of the accessibility of private and protected data members. So here I have created three classes: class X, class Y and class Z, where class Z is inherited from class X and class Y is a friend of X. So how class Z can access the private and protected data members? It can access the private members using the member functions of class X. Indirectly, it can use the private members via member functions, whereas they can access protected data members directly. And when we are talking about a friend of X, so friend of X class, that is Y, can access the data members which is private and protected directly from their member functions, and the function 1 which is also a friend of X can also directly access the private and protected data members. So this is the concept we need to keep it our mind while creating a program, so that whenever we are creating any program of inheritance, we should keep all this is in our mind, that how we can use the private and protected data in our derived classes. So guys, that's all for the today's video. If you like my video, if you understood the concept, so don't forget to like and share the video, and also if you have not subscribed to the channel, so do subscribe to it. Thank you.